Welcome to evening session. The aspect we shall be taking up is the way forward from integrated format. We have reached at the integrated format of the text of Ganesha Sutras and Sutras. There are 16 sutras and there are 13 Sutras. This set of 29 sutras make an integrated format. The way forward from this format for reaching at the meanings of the sutras is that let us first of all visualize the feature of the integrated format as that there is a range or a row of 16 steps or entities or the points of placements of the sutras. The gaps in between are there. From Sutra 1 to Sutra 2, there is a gap which deserves to be bridged, and this bridging of the gap is to be in terms of Sutra 1. As such, the first feature is that to have a continuity of the integrated format, we have to reach from Sutra 1 to Sutra 2 with the help of a bridge being provided by Sutra 1. The points and the gap in between as such are the pair of distinct generic units, distinct features. It is this mechanism of having a continuity for the range by providing a bridge means to have structures for the gap. The structures for the gap are going to be of distinct generic, of distinct nature. So a pair of structured points, one point being fulfilled with the structures of sutras and another point being fulfilled with the structures of sutras are to be availed. It is this feature which is to be kept in mind while we shall be reaching at the way forward from the integrated domain. This feature may be mentioned as having bridging for the gaps. So the aim to have a continuity with the discretes can be achieved only if the gaps between the discrete placements can be fulfilled with another structures or bridging is there. So bridging of the gaps of the range of the discretes is the feature which is to be taken account of. First feature for the way forward from integrated format as such brings us face to face with the gaps as well to be fulfilled in terms of structures of different generic from the discretes. The second feature which we have to take account of is that we are having 16 discrete points of the placement of sutras, and we have only 13 gaps, different generic Upsutras units. So 16 units and 13 units of different generic are available to us. What is the numerical interrelationship of this pair of values 16 and 13 as 16 sutras units of the points of placement of sutras and 13 upsutras of the placements of the gaps. Here let us reach at the range of values 1 to 16, and then let us reach at the factors. 1 has only one factor, 2 as well has one factor, 3 has one factor, over 4 has two factors, 2 and 2, 5 has one factor, 6 has two factors, 7 has one factor, 8 has three factors, 9 has two factors, 10 as well has two factors, 11 has one factors, 12 has three factors, 13 has one, 14 has two, 15 has two, and 16 has four. We count, these become 29 factors. So these are 16 plus 13. See, if we are considering only the values 1 to 16 as discrete points, then we will be having this array of 13 points, 16 points. These 16 discrete points range is available. But when we see that we reach at the factors of this range of numbers, these become 29. Therefore, the integrated domain of 16 sutras and 13 sutras is the range of 29 factors. The 16 sutras as range of 16 discrete points is parallel to the values range 1 to 16, while the integrated domain of 16 sutras and 13 upsutras fulfilling the gaps of the upsutras, this makes a format of 29 factors of values range 1 to 16. Now let us be face to face with the third feature. The third feature is that value 16 accepts an organization 5 plus 6 plus 5, while 13 accepts the organization 4 plus 5 plus 4. Parallel to this pair of values formats is 5 space, 6 space, and 5 space, means 6 space as origin of a 5 space, splitting 5 space domain into a pair of 5 space domains, and 4 space, 5 space, and 4 space is an organization of 5 space being the origin of a 4 space, splitting the 4 space into a pair of 4 space domains. So it is this feature, it is this organization format beneath the values 16 and 13 coordinated as that we are having a 4 space which accepts 5 space as its origin, and step ahead we are having 5 space which accepts 6 space as its origin. Therefore, the reach is going to be from 4 space to 6 space. It is this feature, third feature of the integrated format of 16 sutras and 13 sutras, parallel 16 and 13 values pair, leading us to 19 factors range and parallel geometric formats, giving us to a setup of a 4 space with 5 space as origin, splitting 4 space into a pair of 4 space domains and 5 space origin splitting out. 5 space as such is having split with 6 space origin going out. So we have to reach from 4 space to 5 space, and it will take us to 6 space. It is this reach from 4 space to 6 space, a jumping over 5 space, or from 5 space we're having a twofold flow. As such, this third feature takes us to a way forward from integrated format, as that the takeoff is to be had at the middle. Takeoff is to be had at the middle. So it will take us on first principles that if we are having a pair of discrete points, and the bridging of the gap in between would mean bridging at the middle. It is this bridging at the middle will provide us a takeoff. We have to have a takeoff at the middle, and this takeoff at the middle will be of two folds, and there being a flow towards both orientations, the pair of orientations. It is this aspect, the first feature, second feature, and third features ultimately leads us to this format, that the way forward from integrated format is to have a takeoff at the middle. Note down, make a specific note, detailed note with a pointed focus, that today in this evening session, a post midday prayer session, we are confronting ourselves with the poser as to how we can have a way forward from the integrated format. Means we have an integrated format with us, and now the poser is what is the way forward. From the integrated format, with the features of an integrated format availability, we want to have a way forward. And this way forward on first principles, on basic foundational principles, on axioms, postulates, comes to be that this takeoff, this way forward, is to be a takeoff at the middle. We can remind ourselves, we can refresh ourselves, we can recapitulate how from the integrated format our desire is to have a way forward. And here we are having three basic features of the integrated format before us, and these features are that the range of 16 discrete points will be made and continuity with 16 discretes by inviting 13 gap bridging structural strings. So we are having 13 strings, and we are having 16 discrete points, and these strings have been availed in such a way that we are making a continuity. Let us have a fresh visit to the text of Ganesha Sutras. We know that the 8th and 9th sutras are of 16 letters each, like Sutra 1 is structure, a composition of 16 letters, and at the end as well we are having a pair of sutras of 16 letters compositions. Now this range of 16 sutras as values range 1 to 16 as 16 discrete points range will permit a split into a pair of parts of sutras 1 to 8 and of sutras 9 to 16. It is here at the middle that we have a split, and this at the middle would mean that we are having a reach like this, that progress up till half is such that there happens to be a split in two parts, but this split in terms of points is in fact is of 16 points, but the gaps in between are 15. So we are having a split here into a pair of parts of 8 discrete points on one side and 8 discrete points on the other side. But we know that in fact these 16 points give us in all 15 gaps. Therefore, this here, if we are not conscious of the availability of the gap, and we will be having a discrete range splitting into and making it two different discrete ranges disconnected among themselves. But to maintain the continuity, there's some link and bridging is to be there. We will be coming to it how the sutra's text is having inherent potentiality by the concept of a Puran, which means a complete, which means an infinity, as infinity out of infinity still gives the infinity. Infinity added with infinity as well as give us infinity. It is just like 0 minus 0 is 0 and 0 plus 0 as well as 0. Here 1 plus 1 becomes 2, but 1 into 1 still remains 1, and even minus 1 multiplied by minus 1 with the reversal of rotation as well as gives us 1. Here the 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 multiplied by 2 as well as 4, and minus 2 multiplied minus 2 as well as 4. This will clearly bring us face to face with the feature that the format being availed, integrated format being availed, is of a creator's space, means it is of 4 space, means it is of hypercube 4 format, means the representative regular body of a 4 space which has a spatial order, means it is 2 space which is playing the role of a dimension. So it is not 1 space. When we will have a break here, we will see these become disconnected parts. But if we are having a plane, then we can have a split of the pair of parabolic like curves. Still the point here, the joint here will be available to us. We'll come to it afterwards, but for the present, at this initial stage of comprehension of the way forward from the integrated format, we reach at a situation that the format takes us to a creator's space, a 4 space, and further that 4 space is having 5 space in the role of an origin, and 5 space we know is a 3-dimensional frame, means it is order, solid order is available. It is the solid order which would mean that 2 space is having 3 space as the origin. It is this availability of a 3 space as the origin will give us one surface for this split, one surface for this split, and still there will be third axis it will be joining and it will be available for bridging of the gap. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. One shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to be face to face with this feature of a split at the middle or take off from the middle. Now we know that 4 space is a spatial order space having quadruple dimensions, and it will give us value 2 raised to power 4. However, the domain itself is 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, it is 16. And 5 space we know is having 3 into 5, 15 as the dimensional value, and 15 leads us to 13 as a dimension. So what it is going to be? It is going to be that we are having 16 value for 2 raised to power 4 parallel to the dimensional frame of a 4 space. We are having a 15 equal to 3 into 5 equal to the value of the dimensional frame of the solid order. Then we are having 14, which is value of 2, 3, 4 and 5. It is equal to the summation value of hypercube 4. And value 13 means that it is within a 4 space, the 12-edged cube 3 space body acquires an additional edge, 13th edge. So the 12-edged static state cube of 3 space body in its dynamic state acquires 13th edge and acquires a static state in a 4 space. These quadruple values take us to hypercube of 15. Now it is this feature that the takeoff from the middle of the integrated format as a way forward is going to be that at the origin of a 4 space, at the solid order transcendental origin, there would be a hypercube of 15. So the way forward from the integrated format as a takeoff from the middle means reaching at hypercube of 15. So whole working is to be at hypercube 15. One can have a pause here and take note that this gives us to a pair of orientations. Format means we will be having a outer fold as well as the inner fold, a pair of concentric circles taking us to value 13, 14, 15 and 16. The inner fold is having value 29 and outer fold is also having value 29. It becomes a 58. So this integrated format of 16 sutras and 16 sutras duplicates itself. It is this duplication of the integrated format which is a way forward. And 58 we know is 29 plus 29. And we also know that 58 is the TC value of Krishan Dua Payan. Krish Dua Payan. It is the 28th transcendental name of Lord Vyas. The diameter is duplicating itself. It is the double of the diameter coordinating the pair of concentric circles. So it is this setup which is a takeoff. So Krishan Dua Payan of TC value 58 being a Vyas. So it is the Vyas, it is the diameter, it is the Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma duplicates itself, or Lord Brahma interacts with himself, or that 4 space interacts with a 4 space, or that it leads us to as synthesis value 6 and as gap value 5. So the takeoff from the integrated format as a way forward is a takeoff at the center of the creator space, a seat of a transcendental solid order origin of value 15, and making a hypercube 15. So a reach from hypercube 4 to 5 takes us to reach from hypercube 14 to hypercube 15. It is with this reach that we will be in a position to start unfolding by glimpsing the meanings of the text of Ganesha Sutra 1, Ekadhikena Purven, and this structure is of a pair of words, so the gap in between is to be bridged, and it is going to be bridged by Anurupen. From this stage, we'll proceed in the next session, and then we will chase it letter by letter, syllable by syllable, word by word of this text, Ekadhikena Purven, and we'll reach at the meanings Ek, Adhi, Ken. One is more than what? Question. Answer is Purven, up till which takes the previous state. So question and answer. Question is posed, answer is also given, and this reach from question to answer as inherent, inbuilt of the text is the feature from where we will begin. Thank you very much.